This is a show with no particular niche, baby. It's always about hanging out. Maybe we'll laugh at some stuff, maybe we'll learn something new, but it's always about hanging out, me and you. Hi, hello, and welcome, or welcome back, to That Thing with James. I'm your host, James, and as I say in the song, this is a show about nothing in particular. And I have particularly nothing to talk about today, so we're just gonna see if I can pull some gems out of Reddit. I found at least one subreddit I am unfamiliar with, I only recently learned about, and then a couple others that I do know about. So, yeah, we're going to do that. I've recently been playing the remastered version of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, and that's been taking up a lot of my mental bandwidth, is just thinking about this game, which is, we're not going to get into graphics or anything right now. We're talking about purely writing and content from like NPCs and quests and stuff like that. And even, I would even say just like the structure of towns within the game are better than Skyrim. I remember when these games first came out, I played Oblivion when it was new-ish. I think it had been out a few years, but I still had a PC at that time and it could handle Oblivion. I remember when that came out, and I played that when I was in college, living in a house with no internet, but I played Oblivion for hours and hours and hours, and I loved it. Although I was still comparing it to the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, which I had played previously when I was still living with my parents, and I loved Morrowind. And then I remember playing Oblivion and being like, the graphics are better and everything, but it feels kind of empty compared to Morrowind. And then Skyrim came out later, and Skyrim I compared to Oblivion, and I remember playing Skyrim and thinking, this is so empty. The map is huge, but it is so empty. And not just the map itself, but the writing, the content, the dialogue choices and everything felt so empty to me. It didn't feel like a real role play where you affect things and make different choices so much. And that's not to say Skyrim is a bad game. Not at all. It's a great game. I have sunk years of my life. I think cumulative hours played, I've sunk at least a whole year into Skyrim. But same with Oblivion. Well, anyway, this new remaster of Oblivion is out, and it is fantastic. It's still definitely Oblivion under the hood, but with Unreal Engine 5, they have really, the graphics are good. The graphics are very good. Now, it's still based, the skeleton is still Oblivion, so some of the character designs are a bit odd, but the textures in the world and reworks and everything, I love it. It's so good. I'm working through I'm on I think it is the final mission for the Thieves Guild in Oblivion. And by like 1 a.m. this morning, the day I'm recording this is Sunday, April 27th. It's currently 10:03 a.m. So 9 hours ago, oh God, I can't believe, no wonder I get tired so easily. 9 hours ago, I was finally saying, okay, I gotta pause this and get some sleep. And so I did. And now here we are. I've been playing Oblivion, and I've also been just feeling kind of, I'm sure it'll change. I've been feeling a bit creatively, I don't want to say empty. I don't want to say devoid. Just, I've been writing a lot. Of course, I'm working on a second book. The first book, thus far, I've not been able to, get an agent for, but I'm going ahead and working on a second book now It's not like a series. It honestly, it is a sequel, but you don't need to know that. In this book I'm working on now, first draft, I'm 178 pages in, and I'm aiming for it to be a 300-page final product. Because the first book, I think part of the problem was it came out to 426 pages, and being an absolute no-name from Oklahoma, no agent wants to even read the blurb for it when they see the word count. It's not doing me any favors, so I'm doing something else. I've learned things, and yeah. Anyway, I've been working on that. And that's why I say I'm not like creatively empty or devoid. I've just been thinking about like acting wise, making other videos for my YouTube channel. Listeners, if you didn't know, I have a YouTube channel that this podcast is on. Just go to YouTube and search That Thing with James, and my channel will pop up in the results. But just like short series, short videos, that sort of thing, it's not been in me to do it. And now I've been wanting to do it. I feel like there's some vacuum in the space of my psyche that is kind of pulling me towards something. It's like there's a hole here. There's a vacuum that you need to fill with something, but I'm not sure what yet. And I think me talking about it like this is part of my process of eventually coming up with something to fill that hole. That's not a dirty joke. I swear that was not intended to be a dirty joke. Where was I going? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. That's really all I had to say. And right now I'm just thinking about Oblivion. Getting through this episode and the bonus episode, and then going back to Oblivion. Speaking of bonus episodes, I have over 100 bonus episodes, and a new one coming out the same day as this episode's release. And you can find those by becoming a patron at patreon.com/thatthingwithjames. Save a pigeon, feed an artist, independent creator here, no commercials or anything in the free episodes. So if you want to help support what I'm doing here, maybe give me a little incentive to keep doing and maybe do better, then become a patron at patreon.com/thatthingwithjames. $5 is the bare minimum entry that will get you 30 days of access to all the 100 plus bonus episodes. And of course, there are various tiers for which I offer various perks. You can explore those at patreon.com/thatthingwithjames. And to those of you who are already patrons, thank you so much. You rock. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, I recently finished reading a book, the latest Jason Pargin book. I think that's how you pronounce his last name, like a J instead of a G. Jason Pargin book. I'm starting to worry about this Black Box of Doom. It was pretty good. It was an enjoyable read. I blasted through it, and it took me just a little over 1 week. So now I'm looking for another book. I really need to finish You. I'm like 1/3 into You. And the 5th season of that show just recently came out. So, there's that. What else? Oh, yeah. I want to get a haircut. I don't want a buzz cut. I don't want my hair short. But I want someone who is comfortable with hair like mine. Frizzy, curly, long, white people hair. I need a good haircut, and I have yet to hear anyone give me even one name recommendation for someone in the Tulsa area. So if you are in the Tulsa area, or you used to be, and if you happen to know if you trust a hairdresser enough to recommend them to me, please give me a recommendation. I'm making an investment here because haircuts are very expensive and I have very, very, very little money. So I want my money to go somewhere that's worth it. Because, baby, I've been to so many different hairdressers that did not listen. And it's not like I was being a dick or overly demanding, just it doesn't always fit. It doesn't always work. So I'm looking for someone that could help me find someone that can give me a decent or better than decent haircut. Let me know. Comment in the video. Send an email to the show email. Those things and the link to my Patreon are all written in the episode description. Anyway, that's enough preambling. Enough ambling about. Let's dig into some Reddit posts because I'm feeling lazy. So we're going to dig into the bottom of the barrel for content. Let me take a sip of water, pull up the first post, and we'll get into it. Okay, I've not read these posts yet. I just saw this title and had to read it. Here we go. This was posted 3 hours ago. I'm sorting through top of the month on Today I Fucked Up. Today I fucked up by getting pregnant while doing a Goofy impression. Okay, let's read. This was actually a few months ago, but the full consequences of my actions have been realized today. Also, alt account because I run my art business through my main. C'est magnifique. Acceptez-le-mot. Let us read. So, my husband and I are finally in a financial situation where we can have kids. Congratulations. So we've been trying. About a month ago, we got drunk, watched some movies, one of which being a Goofy movie, and then decided to give it a go. When my husband let me know that he was close to finishing, I was compelled to yell in a surprisingly good Goofy impression, hubby's words, yuck, fill me up. Okay, these people are cool. I like them. Okay, let's listen. When my husband let me know he was close to finishing, I was compelled to yell in a surprisingly good Goofy impression, yuck, fill me up. I guess my husband really liked that because he immediately came, and it was kind of a lot. Afterwards, he was a little upset about it and asked me why I did it, to which I had no answer. About a week later, I was doing the obligatory pregnancy tests, and they came back positive. Another test later, and I was officially pregnant, which was further confirmed today when I missed my period. While I am happy that I'm pregnant, I'm not so happy that we conceived our first child while I was wine drunk and doing a Goofy impression. My husband has brought it up, and he also expressed that he's a little disappointed that it happened this way. I think we both learned that oftentimes the way things happen usually doesn't align with how we might want them to. Yeah. Okay, let's read some comments. You're only disappointed because you both found out that your husband has a Goofy fetish. I mean, it's better than a Sonic fetish. I mean, this could have been a Sonic inflation thing. Let's see. Another. My children were conceived by jerking off into a cup. That cup was then ran through a lab and then injected into my wife. I think your story is better. It's something that you will remember forever and you will share between you and your husband. Not everything has to be lovey-dovey and sentimental for it to be a cherished memory. This actually sounds hilarious, and I would love for it to be my story. Well, what are you going to tell your kid? That they were conceived via turkey baster? You think that's not as good as being conceived by the yuck, fill me up. Gosh. Oh, gosh, I sure do love a cream pie. I have always inherently, and I've got no evidence to back this up, maybe it exists, but I have always inherently associated Goofy as a caricature of an Okie. Like a Californians, because, Grapes of Wrath, Dust Bowl stuff, a lot of Oklahomans went west to California and were working on farms and orchards there. And so there's this association, there's this literal link. I've even got like way back relatives. I've got relatives in California right now that my dad has mentioned maybe a few times. I've never stayed in contact with them. None of my extended family, to the best of my knowledge, has ever stayed in contact with them. But the link goes back to the Dust Bowl. So, yeah, there's a lot of Okies in California, in case you didn't know. And so California then develops this caricature of Okies that goes back to, Great Depression, 30s, Dust Bowl. And that caricature is something that I happen to know of and assign to the character Goofy. So yeah, I have just always, Goofy in my mind is a caricature of an Oklahoman, an Okie. Another comment, this is dope. Don't be sad about this. It sounds like you guys have a great relationship, and aren't you happy your baby is a Goofy baby and not an obligatory I'm ovulating, so hurry up baby? Yeah, I think it is. This is a great way. I think you set this baby up for a happy life because you were having it while having fun. So much fun that you're like, let's do Goofy impressions while you're balls deep and basting my ovaries, baby. That's going to be a happy baby, I think. Yeah. This is a cute story. Another comment. This is a cute story to keep to yourselves. It has never once come up how my children were specifically conceived, which is to say, why does he care this much about the details? That's not what's important. I feel fucking robbed reading that comment. Why did they? Fuck it. Next post. Just a second. Let me get some water. Next post. Okay, this one is from 2 days ago. Title, Today I fucked up by ending up on Fox News. Oh, that reminds me, quick story. I think my third year in Austin, I was working in an office in downtown Austin, which, by the way, I recently saw a picture of downtown and it looks completely different. Wow. I mean, the city changed so much in the 9 years I lived there, but now over the past 5, it looks completely different. Anyway, I was downtown. I had just left work. It was like afternoon. I was, part-time. And I was waiting to cross the street to go to the bus stop to catch a bus back to my apartment. And someone pulled up, shoved a microphone in my face, was asking me all sorts of questions about Obama. They're going to take all our guns, yada, yada, yada. And I didn't answer anything. I didn't answer anything except for just completely shut down the interviewer who was trying so hard to do a gotcha clip on me. Ooh, gotcha. And I didn't give her any ammunition because it was an InfoWars microphone. And I was familiar with InfoWars. I knew about, what's his fucking name? I had his name right before. Alex Jones. Excuse me, hold on. I knew about Alex Jones already before moving to Texas. Texas. That state sucks. I knew about Alex Jones and all this stuff, so I did not give this woman any ammunition, and I dismantled her questions as she was asking them, like, where do you have evidence for any of this? Like, you're not making any sense. You sound like the schizo I passed up the street, okay? So I understand how one can accidentally end up on any sort of media you might not want to. And this was before people were posting so many candid gotcha videos for TikTok, because TikTok didn't exist at the time. Anyway, let's read this. Today I fucked up by ending up on Fox News. Context. I'm British. Uh-oh. I'm going to have to read this in a British accent now. Context. I'm British. Some people say I have a posh voice, so we have to modulate. I'm British. Some people say I have a posh voice, and I was visiting New York for a week with my grandparents a few weeks ago. On our last day in NYC, I decided to walk around Manhattan by myself while my grandparents picked up the hire car to drive upstate. Hire car, I'm guessing a rental? Or is that like a ride share? I don't know. As I'm walking through Times Square, I get stopped by a man with a microphone alongside a cameraman and a producer. He stops me and asks me if I wouldn't mind answering a few questions. I see on the microphone it says, "The Big Weekend Show," to which to an American might be obvious, but I had never heard of this show before, so I figured it was some small YouTube thing. So I decided to agree to the interview when in Rome. I should add that we visited the US right as a whole group chat leak. Wait, I'm getting tripped up. I should add that we visited the US right as the whole group chat thing leaked. Group chat leak thing happened. Oh, about, the war crimes that. And just about everyone was talking about it. The interviewer then starts asking me questions like, "Have you ever been added to a group chat by mistake?" And "What would you do if you were added to a group chat by mistake?" etc. I obviously immediately realized that what he was referring to and gave my honest answers to the questions he asked. I have very little knowledge and opinion on the topic, being British. After the interview was done, I asked if I could watch it anywhere. The interviewer says, "Yeah, it'll air on Fox News on Saturday at 6 p.m. as part of their Talk of the Town segment." Right away, I realized I'm about to be on the most hated news network in America. But on top of that, when I get nervous, I tend to talk a bit more posh for some reason. And naturally, I was nervous as hell being interviewed on camera. So, especially when put next to regular NYC citizens, I sound like a really stuck-up posh British dude. Returning to uni in the UK, I'm not hearing the end of it from my friends. They're all repeating the phrase I used in a posh voice, and my family keeps bringing it up. Heartbreak emoji. Overall, it was a cool experience. I feel, or hope, that since I'm British, I can get away with being on Fox without people thinking I agree with their politics. LOL. Edit. Oh, they put in a link for the video? What? If I knew how to... Well, I think I do know how to do it, but I don't get enough money to warrant the time enough to put in a clip of the video for this. Maybe Catch-22, if I did put the clip of this in, I would get more patrons, but I just can't be fucked right now. Oblivion calls. I must close shut the gates of Oblivion. Let's read some comments here. Steer into the skid, man. Nothing wrong with a little good-natured ribbing from friends and family. But if you make fun of yourself a little bit, you should be all set. Another person says, whoa, what the fuck? Don't think twice about it. My all-time classic was flying a small plane with a friend. He had installed an oil filter on his Stinson. I don't feel like reading all that. And there's a picture of a dude with some weird shit sticking out of his skull. I don't want to read that. Here we go. The last comment I'm reading on this one before we move on. You let Fox News interview you? That's it. You're a Nazi. Round them up, boys. Sorry, I think it's the other way around. The Nazis are rounding everyone else up and sending them to the concentration camps. Okay. I'm going to look up another post. Just a second. Okay, this one grabbed my attention. Ooh. Am I the asshole for telling my wife she can't cook? I, 29, male, have been with my wife, 28, female, for 8 years, and the meals are just about the only place of contention in our marriage, but I'm scared she's going to kill somebody one day. What? Background. We split the cooking in our house 50-50, but when she cooks, I feel like I have to watch her like a hawk. She undercooks just about everything, especially meat, and no matter how many times I try to politely correct her, she claims I'm being picky. For example, every time she makes rice, I just can't convince her that it's 1 part rice to 2 parts water. She always says, "Are you sure? That seems like a lot of water." Or maybe that's how you like it, but I don't want it so mushy. The package and Google won't convince her either, and I just swallow my pride and eat the crunchy rice every time. It's like that with everything: pasta, veggies, bread, meat. Pause real quick. The rice, I think 2 parts water is too much. You have to do the finger method. It goes up to your cuticle. Some people say the first knuckle, but in my experience, everyone's fingers are different. So on me, it's like up to my cuticle on my index is the perfect amount. It's not crunchy, but it's not mushy. We don't want mushy rice, okay? And also, wash your fucking rice first. Soap and water. Dawn. High concentrated, soap it, okay? You got to get the bugs out. Let's keep reading. The thing is, I wouldn't care so much if it was just me, but she always wants to cook for our friends. She really prides herself on her cooking and wants to make everything herself. Admirable. You just have to learn how to take criticism and learn, because you might actually, need to learn something. Anyway, I just trail behind her trying to make sure it's all edible. But there's usually a few dishes that end up drastically oversalted or undercooked. Our friends will politely eat, but I noticed they've been coming to fewer and fewer invitations for dinner. Things all came to a head the other night when she went to put some chicken in the oven as I was hopping into the shower. When I came out, she had pulled the chicken out and said dinner was ready. I was skeptical and told her that it had only been like 10 minutes. She said she pan-seared it first, so it was fine. But when I came to look, the sides were literally pink. I snapped a little and told her that she's going to kill someone one day from serving them raw meat. Can't you see that it's pink? That's food safety number 1. She said she thought it was done, and it was not her fault. Her mother never showed her how to cook chicken growing up. I then told her, well, you're almost 30. That's no excuse for not knowing how to cook at all. Oh, yeah, don't say that. You don't say that kind of shit, dude. You don't say that. Even if you're right, you don't say it not like that. Bro, you got to find a better way to fucking guide her, because, yeah, she may get someone killed, but you can't say shit like that, bro. Needless to say, no shit, she was pretty upset, and I probably could have been nicer. But I've been nice about it for 8 years and nothing has changed. Okay, maybe, but still, I mean, you're gonna be in the doghouse either way, so fuck it. Maybe you had to say that. Am I the asshole? Okay, let's read these comments. Okay, thank God. Yes, yes. Okay, this person says maybe both of you need to take basic cooking class together as some sort of a couples thing. I don't know what to do about someone who won't agree that rice is a 2-to-1 ratio when the packaging even says so. Edit. Comments fusing on my rice ratio or focusing on my rice ratios. This is a call to back up the OP, showing her the package instructions and the wife sticking to her ratio that makes crunchy rice. Not a debate on the perfect rice ratio. Okay, there is a perfect rice ratio, and 2-to-1, 2 being the water, that's too much fucking water. It's like 1.5. It's the finger method. Because if you do 1 cup rice, 2 cups water, and I guarantee if you're doing 2 cups water, you're probably not washing your rice first either. Yeah, the shit's gonna come out mush, nasty. You need to take a cooking class too, motherfucker. Possibly sit down with her when not cooking or eating and say, look, let's fix this cooking situation. You say your mother never taught you how to cook. I was harsh and said you should know by now. And you actually open to someone, or are you actually open to someone teaching you how to cook? If she says no, then ask her what the solution actually is. If she says yes, then sign up for the cooking class, not the asshole. And then the comments on this comment are, actually, with rice, I always put slightly above what the water calls for. It turns out better for me. Another person says buy a heat thermometer. Wait, 2-to-1 rice, 2-to-1? Here we go. Same here. I wash the rice thoroughly and then 1.75 cups of water to 1 cup rice. Fluffy rice every time. Yeah. And then another person says, there's no real single answer to the rice-water ratio. Different varieties of rice need different ratios of liquid added. This is true. Certainly brown rice needs more because it still has the shell on it or whatever it's called. The hull? Is that the hull? Most are somewhere between 1 cup of rice to 1.5 to 2 cups of liquid. And of course, you can adjust your own to taste, but cutting the liquid fully in half like OP's partner did is not going to yield a result that most people will enjoy. I'm looking up this fucking Asian rice water ratio because who's going to know better than the Asians? Okay. Yeah. 1.5 to 2 cups. 2 cups. Do I really put in 2 cups of water? I don't measure it out. I just do the finger method and it works every fucking time. So I don't know. All I know is you got to finger your rice and then it's good. You got to finger the water and then the rice comes out perfect as long as you've washed it until it's as clear as you can get it, the water first. Not the asshole, mate. You've been patient for 8 years, and that's a long time to be chewing on crunchy rice and dodging food poisoning. Practical suggestion, though, have you thought about getting a rice cooker? Yeah, they are amazing. Takes the guesswork out of it, and maybe someone like an LG Neo Chef or even a smart oven where you just press the numbers for what you're cooking might save you from having to play food safety inspector every time. Let's see. Another one. Buy her a meat thermometer. If she isn't doing it to try to break you and make you do all the cooking, I personally would have cut the chicken open close to the bone where you can actually see it's raw and say, if it's done, let me see you eat it. You said she won't listen to Google or the instructions on the box. It's obvious she has no intention of learning. If my 9-year-old granddaughter can grasp how dangerous it is to eat raw meat, why can't your wife? I didn't know how to cook. I didn't have Google. I had to teach myself. So many people do this every day. I feel like your wife is playing stupid, but regardless, please stop having dinner parties and don't let her near children. Ooh, someone says to that. LOL, I also think she is deliberately doing it so OP will give up and do all the cooking himself. 28 is too old to not understand such basic cooking. I agree, but still, that doesn't stop people, even in their 30s, not knowing how to cook. And for some reason, have some weird mental emotional block from learning how to do it. I don't know, man. I don't know. And then this comment's highlighted, but let's see. Not the asshole, but you really should have been fully honest much sooner. While intending to be kind, you've allowed her to go several years into thinking her food is edible when it's not. You've only put your foot down when not doing so might have put you in the hospital. In your defense, I think there might be some people who just cannot admit, even to themselves, that they are wrong and that the other person knows better. And this sounds like what your wife is like about cooking. Nevertheless, the answer is telling her you're sorry, but you think that being fully honest about her cooking can be the only way forward. Sometimes it's barely edible. Sometimes, as with the undercooked chicken, it is literally dangerous. That could have put you in the hospital. So, she can be upset as much as she wants about being told this and be in denial of it, but you can no longer just bite your tongue and eat it after she denies what you say. The limit of politely pretending she won't listen has finally come. You can't do it anymore. You love her, but her cooking is what it is. The answer is for her to swallow her pride and go back to square one. Ask her how she'd feel if you kept ignoring warnings about how to wash clothes and ended up ruining clothing every time you washed anything that needed special care. Would she say nothing and just wear the shrunken or discolored clothes you've destroyed? No. That's what she's like with food, except that raw meat can make you severely ill. It's not a matter of looking like a clown when you leave the house in ruined clothing, but leaving the house in an ambulance. That's not an exaggeration. She should look up what eating raw chicken can do to you. That's a very Reddit comment, and the thing I have to say to it is, it's too rational. It's too rational. The person who doesn't want to know how to cook right, they're not being rational, and they will not listen to rational comments like that. That's the thing. You have to get irrational to deal with irrational problems. Anyway, man, I've run long in this episode, so I'm going to wrap this up. I told you I don't have a lot today. I don't have a lot. I'm sorry. And if you've gotten this far, thanks. Thank you. If you want, I'm usually better in the bonus episodes. You can get those at patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. Thank you for giving me your time and for tuning in, and I hope to catch you next time. Bye.